On. Life is good.
Have you been contacted by any law enforcement officers today?
Oh, I don't contact them. They don't contact me. I contact them.
Oh.
But no, the only real contact I've had has been trying to get our court case moved along because the state police. It turns out the reason we haven't heard anything in so long is because we got an update on that. State police are delaying. They don't want to release our video.
Why is that?
Because it shows them breaking the law blatantly, and at the end of the video, I specifically request the entire time we were in custody because they don't know that I know that someone searched my vehicle without a warrant. And it's on their video surveillance, and that's probably why they won't release it, because they know they're about to get screwed big time because somebody was in my car after we were arrested.
Wow. Just totally violated every right you had there, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, they asked after they arrested us, they said, is that your car outside? And my answer to them was, you absolutely have zero consent to touch my vehicle. And yes, that's my car. Don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back out there, my dash cam was unplugged and pointed at the ceiling of the car.
Well, I mean, they can't. It's not like they can't tell it's not your car. You got it all decked out in Copblock fucking stickers.
Oh, absolutely. I think they just needed to clarify because they were about to conduct an illegal search.
Just to make sure. Just to get a base.
Yeah, just a base. But, we got a good show. This is a jam-packed first week of the year. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, man.
We had all these show notes, and then today all this breaking news hits the news, and it's like, well, I guess we'll just add these awesome stories into our show notes, and we might have to bump a few things.
Yeah, I found out this morning at about 9:00 that former Philadelphia captain Ray Lewis was going to be coming down to protest in Cleveland, and said, fuck it, I'm going to go out and try to meet him and try to get some video that I can, play on the show and whatnot. And the video's rendering. It ain't ready for the show. We're having technical difficulties at the phone line, so people can't call in. So I actually had Ray Lewis was going to come on and call in tonight, but with the technical difficulties, it's not going to work out.
We'll beginning next week. We'll have our soundboard, and the calls will be getting run through a different computer, so it'll definitely work out a little better then.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll keep in touch with Captain Lewis because seems like a pretty down to earth, honest guy. And
now, is this the guy that I saw at the anonymous protest?
He's been at the anonymous protest. He was actually arrested at the original Occupy Wall Street protests.
Now, what's his deal? Did he quit being a cop to become an activist, or is he?
Yeah, he retired and became an activist. His card reads, Captain Ray Lewis, Philadelphia Police Department, retired activist fighting against social, economic, animal, environmental injustice. Huh. And his Facebook page is Ray Lewis and Captain Ray Lewis. And
did he actually finish out his career as a cop, or did he quit because he needed to fight the power, so to speak?
We didn't really get into that. I interviewed him, and I got a nice long 20-minute video of me interviewing him, and the other news crews there interviewing him as well. I got a couple of their questions on there too, and it sucks that the video is just not ready. I'm hoping it'll be ready by the end of the show, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. Might just have to put it off all till next week till we get all that soundboard shit worked out and everything. I will post the video.
It'll definitely be put up on copblock.org.
I was going to say
that, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that I'll absolutely do that because, I wanted to get that out. And plus, he's going to be back tomorrow at 3:15 back at the same place at the Justice Center for the same purposes, to be out there to protest and call for. He's actually calling for the DA McGinty to be put in jail. So, the other activists around here are calling for McGinty to just be kicked out of his job, but Ray wants him jailed. And,
it's gross misconduct to just blatantly let someone get away with murder because they wear a badge.
Well, there was many things that he brought up that are key points to the whole thing. It's like I mean, the dispatcher, she quit. So he was like, well, she got a conscience. So, she did the right thing and quit. He's like, McGinty shouldn't still have a job. Lohman shouldn't still have a job. And, he just is, he thinks that putting McGinty in jail would send a message, and it certainly would, because he's right about that. What McGinty's afraid of in this case is the all powerful Cleveland Police Union. So he said that you'll see in the video when it gets posted later or whatever, that he says that he did what they told him to do, basically.
Now, Cleveland police, were those the same ones that just went after Tarantino? Was that the big police union that was fighting him?
No, I think it was LAPD. I think that was LAPD that did that.
Okay. All the big cities have these powerful unions that are more like mobs.
Yeah.
If you piss them off, they'll just get all their officers to boycott your establishments and to take their time if you ever have any trouble.
Yeah.
So the other stuff, I mean, that was you today. That was Cleveland. Then we have Iowa Copblock. Josh Hodgkins was out at an Autumn Steel event today, and we were going to have him on, but I think he just totally wore himself out at this event because he was out there in the freezing cold, taking on the elements with the family, and all of the supporters for Autumn Steel were out there in the freezing cold because it's the year anniversary, and justice still has not been found.
Fucking Josh is a cold pussy. I was out there today in the cold too. It was fucking pretty cold out there today in Cleveland.
Oh man, it's been deadly up here in Pennsylvania. We laughed for about a month that winter wasn't coming, and then suddenly it's like slaps you right in the face.
It's a good thing I packed on all these extra winter pounds.
Well, on top of that, what else happened today? We had the other big news. Tamir Rice's killer Tamir Rice's, wasn't it the, I'm sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought there on that one. It was a city official. Okay, I'm sorry. There's so many back-to-back stories here. It's hard to keep track of what happened in each one. The city officials in the Tamir Rice case, one of the high-ups actually resigned, saying that he would not work for a city that refused to indict the murderer.
Yeah, well, he wrote that letter that was like a year ago. He wrote that like last year, and it's now getting exposure. I mean, it got exposure then, but it's getting exposure now because of the the non-indictment and shit. So,
well, the other big story today, something that just broke in the last few hours: Sandra Bland, a name that we've heard all year long. One of the most egregious mysteries to happen in the country all year. An activist gets pulled over for a turn signal, ends up dead in a jail cell. Well, today, the officer was finally brought up on charges. The grand jury decided today to indict the officer, not for attempted murder, not for manslaughter, not even for assault or false imprisonment. No. They got him on perjury, because if you're going to break the rules, don't break their rules. You got to make sure it's not obvious. But we're going to jump right into our first story of the day, which is a story by Josh Hodgkins about Autumn Steel. Do you remember this story, Dio?
I read a little bit about it.
Autumn Steel was just a year ago. It's been a year. And she is a young mother who was accidentally shot by an Iowa police officer. And the ironic thing about this is the officer was trying to kill.
Oops, you're holding my bullet.
What's that?
Like, oops, you're holding my bullet.
Exactly. Well, the officer was trying to shoot her dog, missed, and hit her,
Instead.
causing her to die, and the officer was never held accountable. So Josh Hutchins was out there today participating with a large group, and he wrote an open letter. And I want to read that letter to you guys. This letter's on copblock.org, and it's named, the story's name, Mother's Christmas Wish. It says, Dear Jesse Hill, greetings to you and your family. I wish you all health, prosperity, and happiness in the coming year and beyond. As I am sure you know, family is what the holiday is all about. So while you are enjoying the company and warmth of your family, I'd like you to consider a few things. Earlier this year, you made a mistake. Because of that mistake, there is an entire family whose Christmas will be sad, painful, and empty this year. It may have been an accident, Jesse, but it was your fault. It was your actions that led to the accident that killed an innocent human being. A citizen who took an oath to serve and protect. You broke that oath, Jesse, and in doing so, you took away Autumn Steele, a daughter, a mother, a sister, a wife, cousin, and friend. Since we both know that you hide behind the thin blue line and never face any consequences, which is what has happened, that oath has become meaningless. There is only one way that you can make it meaningful, Jesse. There is only one way that you can be guided by your honor and dignity to do the right thing. Quit being a police officer. You proved that you were unable to handle the stress of that job. The right thing to do is walk away from it. Show us that you are more concerned with character and values than you are with your pride in your career. What do you stand for, Jesse? As a man, are you kind of a man? Are you the kind of man who would break an oath and then pretend nothing ever happened just to benefit yourself? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, Jesse, and I'm going to assume that you took the job as a police officer because you wanted to serve your community and keep it peaceful and safe. However, you made a bad decision that led to events beyond your control that killed a human being who has failed by the oath you took. There are two ways a man can handle his failures. He can double down and plow through life, compounding his failures and ignoring them. That man is the man who threatens the safety and peace of the community, not the one that upholds it. The second kind of man will admit his mistakes and his weaknesses and learn from them and move into areas where perhaps his strengths are better. This kind of man, if he truly wishes to serve his fellow humans, will find a way to do so no matter what he does. It is not bound into the areas of his failures. So I will not ask you to ask yourself, Jesse, what kind of man are you? Or rather, what kind of man you want to be. And if life dealt you the hard hand it dealt Autumn, which kind of man would you want your family to remember you during their first holiday without you? I have faith in humanity, Jesse, and I have faith in you. Lay down your badge and your gun forever. It's the right thing to do. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and have a happy new year. Joshua Scott Hotchkins.
Well, there you go.
That was a really good.
Jesse?
You think she got it? You think she read it or heard about it?
I doubt it. Maybe, I don't know. You know, those cops out there. There was one of them claiming that she's been on Copblock.org. So there might be others. Who knows?
I bet you must. I mean, especially when they're named by name. I bet you that they check out the site.
I don't know. I mean, you know, we caused quite a shitstorm over there when we were protesting the Ryan Bollinger murder. So,
you went over to Iowa for that?
Yeah, me and Adamo went over to Iowa for that. There's, you know, video on copblock.org and stuff. We went over to pick up. We went and picked up Josh, and we went over to Des Moines, and we went and protested out in front of the courthouse over there and police station, whatever it is. You know, those buildings they're like all mixed together and stuff. So whatever it was, and we brought chalk, and we were chalking the shit out of the place and everything, and passing out the chalk. All the protesters that were out there took part in the chalking and everything. So it was quite an event to behold. So I'm sure if they weren't looking at it before, they're probably looking at it now.
Well, good. I mean, I that letter was not malicious. It was not mean. It was not accusatory at all. It appealed to a human side, if there was one left in this person. Because
Well, that's the hope, right?
what's that?
I said that's the hope, right? That there is a human side left to him it'll appeal to. So
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's holding on to the hope of it, and it's if they're able to look past their gang mentality and the things happening where their own departments cover up their crimes, they still have to go to bed at night in their own bed with their own thoughts. And how do you do that if you signed up to help people and you know you just killed a mother, an innocent woman, and just keep going to work and keep acting like nothing happened? It's got to weigh on you. So
I'm sure it does. I mean, the first thing lost in war is innocence, right? So, yeah, I mean, well, I don't know about you, but I know I have never had to make that decision myself. I have never killed anyone, and nor do I have any desire or fucking, whatever deep-seated mental issue causes people to want to fucking kill people. I don't have that. I don't have any desire whatsoever.
We're going to a commercial break.
Radio. Don't kill people. That's how we should end that particular segment.
To the Bad Boys song, "Don't Kill People."
Don't kill people. Cop blocking is filmed on location with the minimum of cop block.
Do you have multiple windows open or something? Your audio is really bad.
I only have the basics.
We'll push through. But all right. So next is gonna be. You got another song? The cops theme song is kind of getting old.
Let's see. Let me think about it for a second.
While you think about it, I'm gonna pull up the next story.
We got to have at least 5 minutes of commercial.
Yeah, we're 4-minute commercial break.
Not that we ever fucking cut from commercial.
Next, we'll talk about my story.
I don't know. I guess maybe throw a rage song in there. I'll try to think of another one for the next one.
Rage.
Yeah, fucking rage.
All right, we're coming back in.
I have someone who's listening is texting me. He said my audio is fine and he can't hear the songs.
Really?
And no, you never cut the commercial.
No, I never cut to commercial.
Yeah, because we don't. We just keep on rolling. We got to be on LRN to cut the commercial.
Well, that's exactly why we're cutting to commercial, is so that the audio can be used for the LRN episode. They can still use these, even though we're not broadcasting on it at the moment. They can still play them as the reruns.
Hopefully by next week that'll change.
It will be.
Hopefully by next week that'll be back to where it should be.
I have the sound equipment that I have, like, it's already picked out and everything. It's just I wanted to get it today, and the funds just were not there. There was no way I could swing it. I already put out a couple $100 for the modem upgrade and the router upgrade.
Are we back?
Nope. Back in less than 60 seconds.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, we're back now.
What?
And
That was a quick 60 seconds, man. What the fuck? Here goes the intro music. 10 minutes too late. This is some fucking show you got going on here, man. I'm telling you.
no, it wasn't late. We were right on time.
Oh, Copblock Radio. Here we go.
We don't come back on that. We don't come back
Here
on the
we go,
minute. We
man.
come back at 10 seconds after the minute
Uh,
for that slot.
I see. But I'm looking at a different time clock, so
10:47 and 10 seconds is when we were coming back. So I did it exactly on time. Anyway, I just wanted to share real quick
anyways.
I'm going to share a few.
You wanted to share Evil Empire?
No, I'm going to share a few of the photos today from Josh's protest. Right outside the police department. And then they had a nice little crowd show up for it to be freezing outside.
Yeah, there was quite a few people out there when we went last time, too.
And what the police commissioner guy was saying was you left before he made his major move, which was went into the prosecutor's office, apparently, and confronted them.
What? I was there for that. I got it on
Were you?
video.
Oh, sweet. I guess he didn't notice. It was probably a lot of commotion.
You mean the captain?
Yeah, the captain.
Yep. I was there for the whole thing. When he came out, you wait till you see what I got. When he come out, he walked right up into the camera and just like gave the whole, ending thing for the video that I'm going to post later on after it renders and everything.
Awesome.
So awesome sauce.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it was good. He's a down to earth guy, really easy to talk to.
Well, we write for copblock.org and we try to get the real stories out there. And we're always head to head with mainstream media because they don't print the truth, honestly.
It was funny when I was out there today because everybody was standing around taking pictures and video and stuff of them and everything like that. And nobody was saying anything. And I'm looking around and they're all gathered around taking pictures and stuff. So I started talking to them and I started asking them questions and shit on camera. And then after a few minutes, they all started kicking in. And then fucking 10 minutes later, the guy from Fox 8 showed up and started kicking in. So it was kind of weird to be leading the charge. What the fuck are you guys afraid to be the first? I'll talk to him. Fuck it.
Well, I guess they didn't know what spin they wanted to put on things. I'd be eager to see what stories they actually ran. Because
if you go to cleveland.com, there's one out there. There's actually, why don't you do that? If you go there, I bet you they have a video out that you could play their version. And then you could see the difference between, what I put out later.
What is it? Cleveland.com?
Cleveland.com, yeah. It should be right up on the front, right on the front page and whatnot, because, it just happened today. So, I don't imagine they had too much other, who the hell knows, but, who the hell am I to say? But it should be, pretty close to the top.
Nut. Let's see. Oh, it is. Mother Tamir Wright, lack of support. LeBron James is quite sad.
You try Fox 8.
I don't see anything about that guy, honestly.
Let me find a link. Talk about something else until I can find a link.
Yeah, I was going to jump into...
Jump.
I actually just did a story yesterday. A shocking move by mainstream media, in my area at least. One of my local papers that is always coming down on people, harassing cops and always saying all the protesters are troublemakers, and they're just really a very biased newspaper, came out with an article that shocked me. And the title of the article was 2000 cell phone video was crucial in many Lehigh Valley controversies in 2015. And what it is they acknowledge that in most, if not all, of these instances where there's question about police brutality or misconduct happening, the use of cell phone videos is what has been crucial. And they don't actually say cop blockers. They don't actually say filming police or anything like that. They just go as far as to say cell phone video by civilians was crucial in most of the controversies in 2015. To me, it was a big step, though, because it really shows a changing in the attitude and atmosphere that now it's not only allowed to film police, but it's now being pushed by mainstream media that these things are necessary. The people who stand around and pull out their cell phones to film traffic stops may be the ones that are going to catch the next viral video or the next horrible thing. So it really was a big story for me to see, and I was really happy about that. Have you ever had any of your local media come out and admit that cell phone video was necessary? Or that any...
Well, I mean, they don't say that cell phone video necessarily is necessary, but they're in big support of the, the police, the body camera programs and stuff like that. But we all know that, it's better to have citizens with cameras as opposed to having cops with cameras. Cops can turn off their cameras. Citizens usually won't, I mean, especially like you said, we could be catching the next big thing. I mean, who the hell knows, you fucking out there filming a traffic stop. Next thing you know, shots are fired. I mean, that's how all these fucking things happen anyway. That's how they get on fucking video anyway, right?
Absolutely. That's why I stress to everybody, when you see something, film something. The police always tell you, when you see something, say something. Well, look, when you're driving down the road and you see someone pulled over, stop your car. If you're not in a huge hurry, stop and just stand by and film. What if that person in that car is being harassed or being railroaded and really needs your help that day, really would like someone to be there, and they're sitting there screwed in front of a cop? Then suddenly some citizen shows up with a camera, and now there's proof of what's happening. I know
that's something that I meant. I didn't ask Captain Lewis today that I'm gonna I'm gonna see him tomorrow, or if we get to talk to him like next week or something on the air or something like that, maybe we're gonna ask him how he feels about that. I mean, I know he appreciates us and filming cameras, but maybe he can stress a point or something that would be like really send it home or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let's see what happens when you get him to call back again or whatever. I sent you a link right there in the chat for the Cleveland.com story on it.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a video in there that you can play. Like I said, and you can see the difference between what they put out and what I shot. They got a lot more fluff, they let their guys talk more than they let the people talk. So I kind of let the people talk more than I like to talk. I talk on the fucking radio. I don't need to.
Everybody can see my screen. This is the ex-Philadelphia police captain, Ray Lewis. This is the man that just called into the show, and he will be calling in again. He seemed pretty anxious he said he can call in on a regular basis. He really wants he wants to get his voice out there, because he said mainstream media has been very effective in silencing him and making sure no one sees him. So this is actually really good that it's in here like this.
Well, we got 1.5 million that he can talk to.
The video is only 1 minute and 34 seconds long. So let's play the video, and then we'll go right into our commercial break.
Yeah, do it. End with this video. Go ahead. That'd be a good way to end it. Even though we're not.
It's going to go a little bit over our commercial break.
It don't matter. We ain't fucking stopping anyway. Oh,
I
and then
do
you
not
got
endorse whatever elk and elk.
This is some fucking ad.
When I first saw that video, I'll tell you exactly what was going through my mind. What the hell are they doing? As soon as you see this suspect, you stop your car, you exit your vehicle, you take cover behind your car, you point your weapon at the individual, and you shout, "Police, drop the gun." He jumped immediately out of that car and shot. This is just a fiasco which is being perpetrated on the people of Cleveland, and it's a disgrace. It's a gross miscarriage of justice. You got to start hiring the right people. They're hiring these John Wayne types, and this is what you get. What they're doing is they're hiring people that are not sensitive because they don't think sensitive people can take the job, the blood and guts. They're wrong. Sensitive people can take the horrors of police work. Social workers. Social workers see horrendous conditions. I don't see a whole bunch of social workers quitting their jobs. Social work type of personality needs to be hired for police. This guy was an accomplice. He was part of a conspiracy to free Officer Timothy Logan. The grand juries are a fraud. Grand juries are put out there to satisfy the public, to make the public believe that, hey, we're going to get justice now because it went to a grand jury. We don't have to trust the police because we have a grand jury. Grand juries are easily led by the DA.
That's so huge to have a former official admitting these things openly.
Yeah. I mean, he's, like I said, he's been around for 4 years. He's been doing this for a while now. And, you know, like I said, he was arrested at the Occupy Wall Street thing. So it goes back at least that far, you know. Like I said, down to earth, easy to talk to guy. Pretty cool.
I'd be eager to see if it actually made some of the larger news networks.
Well, like I said, Fox 8 was there too. So, you know, I mean, that's Fox. So they got to have something too.
Yeah.
See if I can find theirs.
Well, we're on our long commercial break.
Yeah, this is 11 o'clock. This is like 8 minutes.
Yeah, we come back at 11:06. So if you got to use the bathroom or
Can I go to the bathroom? Thank you.
come back, we're gonna jump into Militia.
If you like.
Oh wow. The Militia story that Asa did just 2 days ago has 5,600 shares. That's a lot.
That's cool. Good for Asa.
What's so funny?
Nothing. It just and the way the whole thing's been portrayed, like, you know, big thing, like make a big thing about it, you know. Like I said before, you know, Asa's got he's got that mentality too. So
See how long this video is. That 6 minutes.
Next now is that Bundy press conference and what's going on those federal lands taking place right now. Let's listen in.
The story that he wrote is really long, so I think our best bet is just to play the video and talk about it.
what one?
The Militia story.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's always best.
So who'd you have that was listening in? We got a bunch of listeners.
Yeah, a friend of mine.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think your audio was fine. I think it's coming out choppy whenever I try to open another video. And
Yeah, it happens. That's why you gotta have two computers so you can have one
yeah,
to just run your show and then one to do all the other stuff.
yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I already have everything for the setup. I just actually have to set it up and get the soundboard. But I'm gonna be running all the calls and the show notes on the screen on a separate computer. That way, whenever I'm opening the notes and opening each story to read, it's not affecting the stream at all.
Dude says Dude says he wants a commercial. Sing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song.
Oh, I'm just looking at this. Look at it.
My dog's better than yours. You call them mini tunes. My dog's better because he gets kennel ration. My dog's better than yours. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't because. Can you make it ding when I say sometimes you feel like a ding? Sometimes you don't.
But we are coming back right now.
Good thing I got that cough out in the commercial. I should do a commercial for cough drops.
So we're going to talk about the Oregon Militia. And
music, eh? Just come right back in, eh?
It crept right up on me. You know, kind of funny to see people on the same team as you try to sabotage things, and it's just really sad. Really sad and pathetic some people are, but they just can't handle that I didn't want to work with them, so they're going to troll my show.
Is what?
The Oregon Militia, I think you and I have different opinions on this because I think these guys are heroes. You think these guys are no big deal.
I didn't say that. I don't know what to think about it really because it could go both ways. I mean, it works in both parties' favor, right? You have, on the one hand, you have the gun control nuts. So if this rebellion is just like quelled and whatever, and it's, over and done with, and there's no big deal about it, then it works for the gun control nuts to be able to put more gun control on. If it doesn't, if it ends up being some kind of, well, it also works if it ends up being some kind of armed insurrection, right? It still ends up being an argument for gun control. So, but I mean, either way, it could end up being the spark that sets it all off, right? I mean, why it's got to be something like that has to make this. I mean, I don't understand why a 12-year-old kid can't spark something like that off, but whatever it's going to take, it's going to take. I mean, especially, fucking Americans, it's all about don't take my guns. So like when it comes down to that, like, if that starts to be threatened, don't, the like Bureau of Land Management and stealing property is the way I understand they operate, so like to be doing that to people is not going to get you very far, right? People are not going to stand for that, so
Well,
it could end up being the spark that sets it all off, could be the spark that ends up setting off the fact that we don't have fucking anything on the grocery store shelves, you know what I mean? Could be the spark that sets off that we get some kind of actual fucking reform and change and shit around here, right? And instead of like just going with the lesser of two evils and all this shit, all these little fucking sayings we like to come up with to make it feel better when it hurts that we fucked up, So who knows? We'll see what happens, right? I mean, shit's playing out, so ain't nothing done yet. We gotta wait.
well, rumor has it in the last couple of days that they're moving. The FBI decided to cut power and move in, and nothing violent has broken out yet. But I wouldn't put it past the authorities to push it to violence when it's not there yet.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's their solution to everything is violence. So, that's the whole thing is like, people like that show up to something like that talking about, if it's going to be violence, it's going to be them that starts it, and it always is. Waco, fucking Ruby Ridge, it always is. It's always the government that ends up taking the first shots.
Well, let's watch the video of what the ranchers have to say to the media. Ammon Bundy, he's speaking on behalf of the militia members.
Just give them some housekeeping items, and that is, many of you have asked us for what is our name, and other than just citizens that care and feel like it's time that we make a stand to protect our human rights, we didn't really know what to say. But we felt that we'd give ourselves a name, at least so we could be reported that way, and we could be more organized in that effort, and that would be Citizens for Constitutional Freedom. Our purpose, as we have shown, is to restore and defend the Constitution, that each person in this country can be protected by it, and that prosperity can continue. We love our country. We love the people in it. We know that we are struggling to be able to know what to do as a nation, and in many ways we are dividing, and we hope that we can restore those things, and that we can unite as a people in protecting individuals, that we will not forget about how important each person is, and how that person has the right to live here on this earth, and has the right to live in liberty, and has the right to own property, and to be able to reap the fruits of their labors. As many of you may know, this effort, if you will, started by understanding that a ranching family here in Harney County has been put under duress by multiple federal agencies, that those agencies have desired for many years to acquire their ranch, and that the Hammond family have refused to sell it because they want to pass on the ranching heritage to their children and to their grandchildren. And because of that refusal to sell their ranch, these federal agencies began a an attack on this family. The Hammond family has experienced their private waters being fenced off by federal agencies, even after the state of Oregon ruled that it was their waters. They have been restricted from their private property through the refuge here, going to their private properties through road closures and fences and gates, even after it was determined that the road was owned by the county of Harney. They have multiple times refused the purchase of it, and because of that, have been prosecuted for actions that ranchers have done for over 100 years in this county, and in this valley, and for protecting their private property. And these things are what this is about. That because we have allowed our federal government to step outside the bounds of the Constitution, they have come down upon the people and are prosecuting them now directly. They're coming down into the states and taking over the land and resources, putting the people into duress, putting the people into poverty, and putting entire counties and entire states into undue obedience. I have asked that Shauna Cox read you what we have titled the Notice Redress of Grievance. And to give you a little background, we have spent several weeks, 2 months to be exact, in petitioning the state and the local county representatives to stand for the Hammonds against these unconstitutional actions. And we have done this through petitions. We have done this through contacts by emails. We know that the sheriff has received thousands of emails. We also know that the county representatives and the state representatives have received thousands of emails, and to no avail, that they have been ignored to the point where they have not even responded back at all. I myself, and along with many other organizations and influential people, have contacted these representatives and the county sheriff, asking them to get involved. And all we have been asking from the very beginning is that they put together an evidential hearing board to look at the evidence, look at the accusations that are set forth, and to look at the abuses that the Hammonds have been experiencing. And they have refused in every case. The Notice Redress of Grievance was our final attempt to get them to act. And this was a legal notice that was delivered to the county sheriff and the county representatives and state representatives. And I'm going to ask Shauna Cox to read this.
Yeah, that went into the commercial, but to everybody watching on YouTube, it just flowed through. Yeah.
I get it. Oh, I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. Actually, you want a commercial? Copblock.org/store. There's a commercial for you. Go to the store, pick up your gear, get you a hat, get you some stuff. We just ordered another whole set of t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. We got the lapel pins are in. We got the badges for sale. So go to the store, pick up some shit. Stickers, business cards. We got it all. There's your commercial. Commercial.
There we go. And we are back. So we just finished up watching the video of the Hammond Ranch and the militia members, and they don't sound like the terrorists that some of the media are trying to make them out to be. To me, they sound like real patriots.
They're just like anybody else, man. They're fucking landowners who just want to be left alone.
So, do you think that it's going to end in violence? Do you think that maybe they might try to open up some talks? And
I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of shit in my life, so I can't at this point say that I would put anything past anybody. There is not much. There is not much in this world that surprises me anymore.
I keep hearing the word Waco, Texas, getting brought up, that it's going to turn into another one of those.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, there ain't nothing we can do but wait, because it ain't over. So, it's only going to be, it's going to take time. It's a matter of time of see what happens. See what happens from here.
Well,
just like in chess, right? If I can move your position your pieces in a place to attack. So right now, that's all that's happening is positioning of pieces.
Well, they definitely have my support. I have the utmost respect for these guys actually standing up and putting themselves in harm's way to make a point. And
sure, especially if what they're saying is true.
Yeah, and I think that the evidence shows that it is true, that they have been bullied. And just the fact that the Hammonds were sentenced once on one crime, and now the feds are coming in to sentence them again on the same crimes that they just already served their time for, is just proof that they are being singled out for whatever reason.
Yeah, that sounds like government.
Yeah, if you don't work with us, if you don't do what we want you to do, you cage, kill you, and your family, just do whatever they want to you.
Any number of tools in the tool belt.
Yeah. Well, our next story is another little bit of a disappointing one. Michael Slager. We talked about him a lot. He was douchebag of the week a few weeks back, crying in the courtroom when they gave him when they told him his bail and that he wasn't going to be released. Well, somehow the guy weaseled out and was able to post bond. He's the last killer cop behind bars. And the story is written by Adamo Freeman. And I'm just going to read a little bit of the story to you, because it's shocking to me that he was able to get this bond put together. But I guess all the police unions and everybody are still supporting him because he was able to pull this money out of somewhere.
He had a GoFundMe, didn't he, when all this first happened?
It was a GoFundMe. I was pretty sure that was one of the ones that was taken down because too many people reported it.
Even if it's taken down, you still get the donations that were made.
Oh, really? I thought they returned them all.
No.
Well, the story reads, Michael Slager, the former South Carolina police officer who was caught on video shooting Walter Scott in the back, was released on $500,000 bond early Monday, according to USA Today. Slager, 34, had been jailed in isolation for more than 8 months since his arrest. The Charlton Post and Courier reported on December, Judge Cliff Newman to set his trial date for the spring. But the prosecutor, Scarlett Wilson, is also prosecuting the case of Dylan Roof, the white suspect in the killings of black parishioners in the Charleston church. That trial is slated to take place in July. Wilson has said a state Supreme Court prevents her from trying other cases before that one. She had asked for a November trial date for Slager. His attorneys asked the judge to free him, saying he would otherwise face 11 more months of incarceration. Oh, poor baby. Kill somebody by shooting him in the back, and he had to serve maybe up to 11 more months. That's how's 8 months in solitary a punishment for shooting somebody in the back?
I don't know, man.
Well,
because the fucking guy was wearing a badge at the time, I guess.
well, the story goes on. Wilson opposed the release, saying that there had been no change in circumstance to warrant it. We believe the defendant remains, as the court found, a danger to the community and a flight risk. Walter Scott, the father of the slain man, also addressed the judge, saying he often goes to the cemetery to visit his son's flowered, bedecked grave. If we let him out, he's going to go home, see his wife and children. All I can look at is a pot of flowers, Scott said. The last quote is the key factor for me. Courts are supposed to seek justice for the victims, and the victims in this case didn't want Slager released. The judge didn't seem to care and took the first opportunity provided to set a reachable bail for Slager. This proves, in my opinion, that the system is not about seeking justice and merely an act that dupes people into believing such a system exists when it doesn't. The judge stated that Slager would be behind bars for another 11 months awaiting trial, thus adjusting his bail. Yet spend the rest of his life there if convicted. So why the amount of jail time is a factor? Add to the fact that Slager has some damning evidence against him. A conviction seems like a foregone conclusion, and that any person would be a huge flight risk under these circumstances, let alone who was caught as close as red-handed as you can get. And then this goes on to show the video. You think we should show the video?
No, we've seen it before. We showed it before. I kind of find that a little bit like disrespectful almost, because it's kind of like overkill, and the more you get seen by the family members and stuff, it's just another knife in the heart. So it's kind of like, it's been played. We've seen it. We're good. It's like playing. You don't go along playing fucking 9/11 footage over and over and over again, do you? Yeah. I mean, they do, but I particularly don't like the idea. So,
well, Damo ends up the story saying, "What are they bitching about? Slager did 8 months, which is 8 months more than most cops who murder. We should be happy and scream how the justice system works, right? Let us know your thoughts below. You think Slager should be let out of jail?"
Don't even bother with that shit, man. Don't even bother with that. Those comments are not worth looking at.
Yeah,
they're not going to be giving you the answers you're looking for. Trust me. They're going to be looking to tear people apart. That's all. That's all they do out there.
Well, at least he's been in jail a little bit. I mean, most cops don't even see a conviction. We've seen grand juries choose to not do anything. I want to see.
The grand jury system is a joke. It's just to give us the idea that there's some kind of checks and balances going on when there's really not.
I mean, I have a real concern that this is going to be another case where he is going to be found innocent. So we got to just put our prayers behind that and call people, let people know that we are all watching and we are still on top of this case, no matter how long passes. We're going to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Commercial.
Okay.
I wonder how far that video is rendering.
It's still rendering.
Yeah. It's
How long
20
was
minutes, dude. It's gonna take a while. And that's not even. I still gotta fucking. That's only to get it off the movie maker onto the computer, and then I gotta get it onto the internet, onto YouTube, and that's
When
gonna
we
take
come-
another couple hours.
When we come back, we'll go to the police assault and pepper spray the autistic man in Alaska.
Alrighty.
That's a video.
What's with the fucking imperialist empire thing on your head, man? I just gotta know.
What, the American flag?
Yeah.
A bandana.
Symbol of an empire.
God bless America.
Imperialist symbol of empire. Yeah, actually, we didn't ever bring up the New Year's Eve as a police state either. But I guess if we can't take calls or whatnot, we can't get people's opinions of what they think about that. Take the mic away from your face when you're fucking not talking or anything.
All right, we are coming back. Welcome back to our second to last segment of Copblock Radio. We're going to jump into a story out of Alaska. Story written by
reality TV.
What's that?
I said, what is this, reality TV? Everything's got to be about Alaska. It's the only place you can have freedom in a fucking frozen tundra. You ain't even that free up there because there's still fucking.
No, Alaska's not free at all. They're not even. It's illegal for them to even have alcohol. I watched the Alaska State Troopers show. They got guys that take their snowmobiles like 5 towns away to buy little bottles of alcohol, and they sell them in Alaska for like $100 a piece. Because
well, they pay a premium, that's for sure. Nobody wants to get caught making it, except for the moonshiners.
Well, this story is written by Brian Sumner. and it is about an autistic man caught on video getting assaulted by the police. We're going to watch that video real quick. It's a short video, and then we'll get into the story.
Stop, bro. Right here.
Never show anything.
Stop resisting.
And then all you have is audio, and all you can hear is a cop saying, "Stop resisting."
And you hear a guy crying, please.
Get the cup. Sorry. Okay. Get on your stomach. Get on your stomach now. Stomach now. Put his feet up. I'm sorry. Push. You're gonna lose his arm.
Yeah, they probably got something like there's a top pap under him that he can't get on his fucking stomach or something. They're holding him in a way he can't get on his fucking stomach.
I want to go home. Stop resisting. I want to go
How is he
home.
resisting?
Pepper spray. Put your arms behind your back. Turn around now. You're going to get pepper sprayed. Okay. Okay? Roll over on your stomach. Turn around. I want to go home. Turn around now. I want to go home. I want to go home.
Okay, when are you going to get off him to allow him to turn the fuck over like you want him to do? I mean,
No, I don't want him to turn over. They want to spray him in the face with pepper spray and try to blind him.
that's always been a contention of mine. I've always thought about that every time I see, like, you know, people getting arrested and stuff. So there's like 4 cops laying on top of you and you're face up and they want you to turn on your fucking stomach. It's like, okay, well, get the fuck off me and maybe I could do what you want me to do, you know? Especially when they get in those heated situations like that. They don't even fucking take that shit into consideration.
Well, the story behind this, in case anybody wants to know what happened, why they were doing this, is 3 officers from the Kodak Police Department were involved in pepper spraying Nick Plentikoff, who was born with autism, before arresting him. The police were alerted of a 29-year-old tourist claimed had entered their car and was rifling through the contents of their vehicle. Kathleen Gambling, Philip Chrisman, and Sergeant Francis DeFent, the officers who arrested Plentikoff, have been the target of serious criticism from the community. Some have accused them of using excessive force with the autistic man. The incident happened October of 2015, but the video wasn't released until December 31st. Police had the option of releasing it earlier, chose not to. Said it was to protect the identity of Nick and his mother, who was his guardian. This is more likely an excuse to have maintained possession of the footage as long as possible. No one wants the video of their employees traumatizing an autistic man, and releasing it on New Year's Eve would hopefully lessen the public outcry. Situation started with them asking for his ID, but escalated quickly to a struggle when he replied, "I don't." The officers closer to Nick spins him around, slams him on the hood of the SUV, and kept stating, "Stop resisting." The phrase "stop resisting" is a catch-all that exonerates officers from any wrongdoing. Ever noticed that? I've seen this before too. They just keep yelling, "Stop resisting."
Yeah, we've talked about it many times. They just just to cover their asses.
There was actually even other videos where the screams, "Don't stop trying to grab my gun," because he wanted.
We were of the opinion for a while there that they were actually being trained to do that, just to make sure that, you know, if anything, if somebody ended up dead, they could say, "Hey, you know, we gave him every chance to quit resisting. We told him 17 times, quit resisting, quit resisting."
It's like the old South Park joke. They're coming. It's coming right for us. when they're out hunting, because hunting is illegal, but defending yourself against the animals is not illegal. So if you scream right for us, then you can kill whatever you want.
Yeah, that sounds about reasonable.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, by status logic, of course, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll move right along to our next story, as if that one wasn't at least if that one wasn't bad enough, an autistic person being attacked. How about in Henderson, Nevada? Police allow a canine to bite a 1-year-old after detaining the wrong man. This is written by Kelly Patterson on Copblock.org. We'll just read some of this, and then when we come back from our commercial break, we'll show you the video. Even after realizing they had detained the wrong person, police in Henderson, Nevada released a canine into his vehicle where his 17-month-old daughter was. By the time they managed to stop the dog, it had already bitten the infant, leaving her with 9 wounds on her right arm. The incident, which actually happened in January 30th of this year, came to light after Henderson Police Department agreed to force Nevada taxpayers to pay the victim's family $13,000 to make up for their reckless action. In addition, police released the dash cam videos of the incident after the settlement announcement. Although police at the scene had already determined that they had the wrong person before the canine officer arrived, confusion over the fact that the girl's father didn't speak English is being used as an excuse why the dog was released. In reality, it was a lack of communication between the officers that resulted in an innocent toddler being mauled by a vicious dog for no reason whatsoever.
Oops.
The Las Vegas Review Journal says, "My baby, Arturo Alvarez, said in halting English as the Henderson police canine ran toward his sport utility vehicle, which sat nearby in a parking lot. I've got my baby," he screams. "There's an infant in that car. There's an infant in that car," an officer yells to his colleagues. It was too late. The Belgian Malinois had already gone into the SUV and bitten 17-month-old Aileen in the right arm. Police video of the January 30th incident shows officers who ordered a confused Alvarez out of the vehicle quickly concluded he wasn't a robbery suspect they were trying to find. Just as the sergeant arrived on scene seconds earlier, they released the dog. Police chief should have had better communication with his officers. In my opinion, the dog was used too fast. Why would they release the dog knowing that there was someone in the car?
I don't know. They want him to get out. He wouldn't get out.
Well, he did. He was out of the car. That's the thing. He was out of the car already. They were releasing the dog to run into the car for whatever reason.
Well, I thought
we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Miscommunication.
We'll cut the video.
Yeah,
that's crazy. If that was my kid, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the same way.
Messed up. We're going into our final segment. Talk about the Mac Tour update.
Yeah.
I'll just throw that link right in there too.
Oh, thank God too, because I'm getting tired. How much time you got?
2 minutes. Somebody asked the question, can the family sue for the dog attacking the baby? Absolutely. Actually, I think that's what I read off. That's why the video was finally released. It was a lawsuit had been agreed upon. Yeah, the victim's family was paid $13,000, and the video was released at the same time.
I love how they do that. I love how they place fucking values on that. Like, you know, you can if you lose an arm, it only costs $9,000. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. I don't know what the caps are on this stuff exactly, but I know that certain things that happen to you as a result of anything, whether it be, you know, any kind of, you know, you lose a limb, not your fault. Somebody's got to pay. They only have to pay X amount of money. There's no like, well, I lost my limb for life, so how come I'm not getting paid for life?
Yeah, insurance companies actually have the numbers. We're coming back. Welcome back to our last segment of Copblock Radio for the night. We're going to jump right into the video. And then after the video, we're going to run into our last story of the night, will be the Mac Tour update. But first, here's the video of the dog mauling. This is terrific.
That's not him. It's not a black man. Black shirt. There you go. All right. Turn him face away. Thank you. Got it covered? All right. Last minute. Okay. Other PKs? Poquito? All right. Okay. Somebody stole some stuff right over here, and you guys want to go up and clear the car? Somebody stole some stuff over here, and they said that they were going to rob the place, and so they thought that you were part of that. Okay, so sit back here. Come back. Come over here. So you're okay. Relax. They thought that you were involved in a robbery. Robbery, yeah. You don't look like the person, so it's okay now, okay? You saw him walk over that way? Yeah, they covered the. Yeah. Okay, so you got that way? Yeah. And my baby. I got the baby. Okay, all right. There's an infant in that car. There's an infant in that car.
Reckless motherfuckers, man.
Check on the baby now.
Oh my God, you hear the baby screaming.
We don't speak English here. Hold on. Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, okay, that's all right. All right, doing all right. Motherfucker. Reckless motherfuckers.
I can't listen to anymore. Just blood-curdling screams from this poor one-year-old child. I have a child almost that age, and I can't even wrap my head around this. I don't think I would have been in jail. I would have gone off on those officers and done something.
Reckless, man. It was just fucking reckless.
Reckless isn't the word for it. They did it on purpose. They were all excited. They couldn't wait to release that dog, and they all had their big guns out. They couldn't wait to shoot somebody too. Luckily, nobody got killed.
The dog was sure excited. You could tell it had that look like it was ready to chomp on something. So,
Well,
anyway,
as if that's not horrible enough, the police then turned around and went into quiet mode for a whole year. This happened back in January, I believe. Yeah, January 30th of 2015. So after all that happened, the family didn't get justice for a whole year. Finally, they did a quiet little settlement for $13,000.
$13,000. That's quite insane. Like I said, I think I was saying it on the commercial. I don't know if we're not taking commercials, but I think I was saying it on a commercial where we don't, they put price tags on everything. It's ridiculous, man. You lose a limb.
Yeah, insurance.
You lose a limb for life. You don't fucking lose a limb just for $30,000 worth of your paycheck. You're sans a fucking arm for the rest of your life, man. How do you put a price tag on that?
Insurance companies actually have it written down for each body part. I know a friend of mine actually lost a couple fingers in an accident.
Oh, and that's disgusting.
They actually have it written down to the point of your index finger is worth this much, your middle finger is worth this much, your ring finger is worth this much. A thumb is worth
disgusting.
A thumb is worth the most.
Well, I would think your fucking limb would be worth more than a digit, but.
Well, as far as each of your fingers, which finger is worth the most to lose? It's your thumb.
Sure. If you take away your ability to fucking grasp anything, that's insane. That's fucking crazy. I hate the fact that they do that. That's just, to me, is disgusting. I find that utterly disgusting. But anyway,
wrap up the show with a positive note. Everybody who's been following Copblock.org and the MAC tour knows about the Noblesville, Indiana police. It was the MAC tour's first stop. The tour was scheduled to be across the country by now, but the police in that decided that chalking on a sidewalk was a crime and put out an arrest warrant for Ademo and Brian. And they were actually in the next state over when they encountered police officers on purpose, because that's what they're doing. They're holding cops accountable. And little did they know that the next town that they passed through had put out an arrest warrant for them and brought them into custody. It was a huge fiasco. They ended up going back to Noblesville, and their tour has been on hold for months now. We're now getting close to the middle of winter. They want it to be in the West Coast by now in warm weather, but instead they are stuck in Noblesville, Indiana. But finally, there's a break in that. They had been willing to bend and break and plead guilty rather than drag this out just to get behind them. An update came today from Brian Sumner, and I'm just going to read that to you. Ademo and I had our final court appearance regarding our criminal mischief charges for chalking the police station in Noblesville, Indiana. The simple fact that we were in court for jail time for writing chalk should be evidence that there is a serious disconnect between what is a crime and what is speech. Before we appeared on our third time, Brian Johnston of the prosecutors handed us both plea agreements. The agreement stated that if we pled guilty to the charges, we would get credit for our time served and pay $168 in court costs and $200 in restitution. This was a shit deal because it ended the case if we signed it. This is a shit deal because it ended the case if we signed. I was mildly surprised by the offer. Our prosecutors assigned to the case had not been open to communication and only once did talk on the phone with Brian Johnson. This made it extremely difficult to negotiate, as well as prepare for court appearances. With little to no new information, we showed up at every appearance with expectation of what was going to happen. After reading over all the paperwork, it was abundantly clear that they were trying to get us to pay for the entire cleanup. This was another attempt at making us bleed for our actions, as two individuals who were involved in chalking but criminal charges weren't pushed against them. We discussed this point of contention with Mr. Johnson after hearing our concerns with the plea bargain. He called a Damo's attorney and the victims, aka the police, to see where they stood on reducing the restitution. We returned to the courtroom. Mr. Johnson didn't have an answer for us, but implied the police were being stubborn. He asked Mr. Baldwin to make a decision in spite of the fact that the police department was not happy with the terms. In reality, the victim doesn't always get the extent of what they want. As if you smash the mailbox, the victim wants $3 million in restitution. Their attorney is going to tell them it's unreasonable, demand a proper solution. The victims don't always disagree or don't always agree. Eventually, Mr. Baldwin realized that changing the restitution to only cover our share of the chalk was the reasonable counter offer, but efficient for us both, and we changed the amount. And the story goes on to talk about the street sweeper that they used and the sentencing and the judge. But the good news is, after all is said and done, it's over.
Well, at least they can get the Mac Tour back on the road.
The Mac Tour can start back up. Everybody can start sending their donations back to the Mac Tour. It will be starting right back up. As far as I know, they already have plans to visit a Copblock group coming up in the next couple weeks. So their tour is back on schedule finally. And we couldn't be happier because they didn't deserve to be held up.
No, it was a bunch of bullshit, but you know, that's the whole point. The state won. They got what they wanted. You know, they got them to pay. They delayed them for fucking however long, and you know, it's unfortunate, but at least now they can move on and keep the tour moving.
Well, we can all just wish them luck and throw our support. If you got a couple extra dollars that you want to donate to them, I believe in the copblock.org/store, there's spots to donate to the Mac Tour. Is that right?
Sure are. As
And
well
you
as
can also
places to buy all your other gear and shit.
Also get all your other gear, sweatshirts, your T-shirts, your tons and tons of stuff.
Pins, stickers, wristbands, everything.
Well, we're happy to end the show on that happy note. It's been a good show tonight, Dio. I thank everybody, all the guests for calling in and all the comments that came in. Thank you, Dio.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a good time.
Excellent.
Coming up in the next couple of weeks, we will be going live on LRN again. Derek will be gone for several months. So while he is gone, we're going to be picking up the broadcasting responsibilities. So we thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.